Hi, Dee. How are you?
Jola, I'm doing well, thank you. I'm feeling refreshed. I just got back from a vacation.
I'm wonderful. Tell me a little bit, just so we can know, how many years have you been married?
I've been married 37 years, going on 38 years.
Fantastic.
Been a long, happy, bumpy life.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're smelling the roses. So it's a very good time for us without our children now that they've gone and they're married and being happy, productive with their own children and their own lives. We're back to dating and back to a honeymoon period.
Yeah.
So life is good.
What actually did you take the course in the first place?
I took the course because we reached sort of a flat line where I was feeling defeated and flat and disinterested in the relationship. After 37 years, you get along and you go along and you know what works, but the spark was really diminishing and I didn't want the spark to be completely off. And I
Yeah.
knew I needed help. So I was reaching out for help, fresh new ideas, and was starting to become resentful that I was carrying a very heavy load on my shoulders, taking responsibility for what I believed was 90% of everything. And becoming a little resentful about that. And we weren't going on dates, which was a very important component of our marriage that had helped our marriage work through the years. I was setting up all the dates on my own. I was organizing everything, even buying my own birthday gifts, believing that, oh, he wouldn't have a clue what I want. So I'll just go ahead and buy it myself. So I really needed to reach out and figure out how I'd forgotten the principles of
Right.
how things work best in a relationship. And very happy to have found you and to have found your course and to have been able to rekindle my relationship with my husband. Thank you, Jola.
Oh, you're very welcome. So, how have things changed now? Like, are you still buying your gifts, or is he helping more? How's the load?
The load is better. My attitude has really changed, and I think it had to start with changing my attitude, not so much trying to change Edward, but more about changing me because I was really going on the wrong direction and didn't realize how far I'd gone into the wrong direction. And I really needed to correct, really needed a big correction. And you helped me correct in a very gentle, intelligent way. And by giving me the tools and the methods and the tips that brought me back into course, in the right course.
Mhm.
So some of the things that I realized I was doing or not doing rather, is I wasn't filling my cup. And that was probably the number one mistake I was making. I was not filling my cup. I was not taking care of myself. I've always been take care of other people first kind of a person. And I think when my children grew up and were gone and we were just the two of us, I decided, oh, okay, and now I'm going to take care of you, meaning my husband. And pretty soon it was becoming like a parent-child relationship, which is not healthy at all. And I didn't want to be married to my child. I wanted to be married to my man, my husband, my lover, my friend. That's who I wanted next to me, not just another person to take care of. But I wasn't filling my cup. And so that was definitely something that I was able to recognize and correct and change. For example, planning all the trips from top to bottom and not including him at all. And he sort of had fallen into this, okay, you do it well, so I'm going to let you do it. And that became more and more of an issue, because I was also taking care of any repairs that needed to be done around the house. And I'd have to find the contractor and get the quotes and And then pretty soon he was saying, oh, I'm not going to be here for, when the plumber comes. No, I said, I want you to be here for when the plumber comes. Oh, but you're going to ask me all these questions and I'm not going to know the answers. And then I'm going to be upset that I don't know the answers. And you're going to be upset that I don't know the answers. It was just going in that direction where I wanted him to be here and do a lot of things that really weren't important. They weren't important, but I was trying to, more than anything, trying to get him to work, do some work around here so that I don't feel like I'm doing everything. But since I started to fill my cup and started to take care of myself, and that was really the key. The reason why I was feeling resentful is because I was running on empty, because I was really doing more than really I needed to be doing, more than it was required of me to do, and pushing my husband pretty much away and pushing him, off to the side. I'll take care of this. I'll take care of that. And that was a mistake. That was a big mistake. I really didn't need to do that. And now that he's come back into the picture and I've moved aside and have said things to him like, no, I trust you. You can do it. The carpenter will be here and you and I've talked about it and we know what we need. And no, I trust you. It's going to be fine. And no, I'm not going to have 100 questions. Whatever you fill me in on, that'll be fine. And he's much happier and much more peaceful and much more self-assured that he can take care of the job and oversee the workers and not worry about being criticized by me when I get home. It wasn't done to my expectations. So these things I needed to change. I needed to correct the road I'd taken, which was the wrong road.
I know. It's
road full of pitfalls that I was in.
Yeah. And I truly admire you, because you can always come and say, oh my gosh, we're married for 38 years. We've made it this far. We're just going to keep going. But it just shows that very little autocorrection, and you can end up in a completely different direction where you don't feel exhausted. You don't feel resentful. And the irony of it all is that the less you do, the happier the man becomes.
Absolutely.
The relationship is easier because you have more time now to go and take care of yourself instead of taking care of all the burdens.
Correct. He'd become complacent and probably also resentful. That I was underestimating him, which is an awful thing to do to another person that you profess to love. Underestimating that person that you love. How's that love? And I'm glad I caught myself, but I wouldn't have caught myself had I not taken the course and had I not relearned what I needed, what I knew once, but had forgotten, because we all fall back into our old ways. So the tips have been absolutely fantastic, and practicing the different methods has been a lifesaver for me this time of my life, when we were really sliding down and really taking the wrong direction.
That's wonderful. And what would you say to someone who maybe is in the same place as you were, where you're thinking maybe the marriage is okay, or maybe the marriage is struggling? What advice would you give them?
Take Jola's course. Absolutely. You have to start with something. And your course is definitely starting in the right direction. Be open-minded. Be open-minded to the ideas and the method, and be open-minded to doing the exercises. Get involved and do your homework. It's fun homework, first of all. And it gives you the practice that you need. And it was really an eye-opener for me to have been able to meet other women that are struggling with the same thing, some of which I made the same mistakes in the past. And with the refresher, for me, it was a refresher course, and then learned a lot of new things that I hadn't really thought about for a long time, like refilling my cup and not trying to be superwoman. And so I would say, first of all, take the course, and it'll open your eyes and it'll open your heart. It'll open your mind to making some changes. And they're not that difficult to make. They really aren't. And they're fun, and their rewards are unbelievable.
Yeah, wow, that's beautiful. I just remember the story because it was just so beautiful when we were doing the gratitude, um, and just talking about all the different things that the husbands do for us that we don't notice.
Mhm.
And you shared that Edward was backing up your car into the driveway so you could just drive out easier. Isn't that just,
He does a number. He's amazing. The way he shows me he loves me, and so many things, countless things. That instance that I shared with you, and it was a moment of an eye-opening moment when I started to share it, because I started out complaining. I remember I started out complaining to you in the group. Started to saying, "Oh, I can't understand why I'm having to do all these things. And he used to know how to do these things, and now I'm having to do them." And all of a sudden, I started to remember that in the morning, how I was going to the pool, and how, as I was in the lesson with you, and he waggled the keys, and like, "I'm leaving the keys for you right here." And then I remember the only reason he needed my keys is because he was going to go to the garage, back my car out of the garage, and turn it completely 180-degree turn so that I could be facing the street, the cul-de-sac, and just have an easy straight out as I was leaving. A bottle of water waiting for me in the car. And as I'm getting ready to leave, he always says, "Do you have everything? Do you have your phone? Do you have your, sunglasses? Did you put sunblock on?" And it's not like a parent-child type of thing. It's more like truly just a partner type of
yeah,
reminder.
yeah.
And he makes sure that I'm out the door, and he walks out with me when I get in the car, and he waves goodbye. Sometimes he runs around the house to the back of the house where we have these tall grassy bushes. He walks between these two bushes so he can be in the front lawn of the street, so that I've already turned the corner and I'm already on the road, and he's standing there going like this, or going
Wow.
like this, which means "I love you."
Yes.
So I honk and I do the same thing back. But that is just to have been married 37 years, going on 38, and to have those little things still happen for me from
Yeah.
him. It's magical. It's absolutely magical. And those are just some of the instances of things that he does for me. Um, he didn't always do that. There was a point in time years back that we basically had switched roles. He was complaining about me a lot, and he joined a Bible class, a men's Bible class, and I wasn't getting up and going to church because I had a baby and I was really tired, and I had a business, and it was like, I can't do this again on Sunday, get up and get dressed up, and I'm always tired, and I'm not going to go to church. And he complained to his buddies, and he complained at his Bible class, and this went on and on and on, and he would be angry with me and resentful with me. And one day he came home and he just changed. And I said, "What happened?" He says, "I got, to talking with my buddies, and they said that I needed to take a look at myself, that I needed to fix me, not
Wow.
you, me." And he's changed. And when he started changing, I started falling in love with him again. He started to change in ways that I was looking at him and thinking, "I want to be like him. I want to act like him.
Wow.
He inspires me." And I started to change, and I started to want to do more of the things he wanted to do as a family. So in the end, he got what he wanted, but it wasn't through coercion or frustration or anger or uh, pointing the finger at me, which he'd done plenty of, and that none of that was working.
Yes.
So
And what ways?
what I'm going to say to you and your viewers is, if what you've been doing isn't working, and obviously it's not, or you wouldn't be listening to this and watching this video,
Mhm.
then it's time to make some changes.
Yeah.
What you've
Yeah.
been doing isn't working. It's
Yeah.
time to do something new and different and fresh.
That's absolutely beautiful. It just shows how your marriage, the 37 years, was just like a roller coaster ride, right? In a way of a little peace, a little quiet, so much self-discovery. People give up so early now that you don't
Mm.
get to ride this wave of 37 years.
Oh my
And
God.
how beautiful is that to actually just continuously grow and improve and see how your husband has shifted and you get so inspired. Now you have shifted again and just kind of refreshing every now and then on the road and just kind of being so mindful. Like I think it's just noticing the things, right? Like because he was doing so many of those things before, but you were
Yes.
just not noticing. And now that you notice, you can love each other even more.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You know, my husband's a creature of habit,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very structured, and he doesn't need a lot. He's a very simple person. And so he doesn't take very, this is the other thing I discovered. It doesn't take very much to make him happy. It
Yeah.
really doesn't. So it doesn't take a lot for me to do the few little things that make him happy. So why not do them?
Wow, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, for sharing your journey. I really appreciate that. It's just such a so many golden nuggets. Thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, Jola. And I'd be more than happy to jump back in and take the course again, because it's something that you need to continue to rehearse and refresh and apply. And we can't let things slide.
Yeah.
We stick with it and stay on it on a daily basis. And now we have a little friendly competition, my husband and I, that the friendly competition is who can do nicer things for the other person on a daily basis.
Oh,
It's true.
that's so
We don't
beautiful.
really talk about it, but it's almost like a little competition. And so we're constantly thinking of how I can, up one, So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun constantly looking for how I can make my husband's life easier. And he's constantly doing the same thing. How I can make my wife's life easier.
Yeah. And what you
And
focus
he
on
does.
increases,
And so
right?
he keeps me young. And I keep him young.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Jola. My pleasure.